I like Mark Twain. Do you like Mark Twain? I like this quote of his. The two most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you find out why. Two most important days in your life, the day you are born and the day you find out why. This whole month, we're going to be exploring the idea of being big for God. I think that's why we are born, to be big for God, to be big for spirit, to fulfill the calling of our soul. We're going to explore together what that looks like because our New Thought teachings invite us to being big. Our New Thought teachings instruct us on how to do it. Our New Thought teachings inspire us to keep going. And our New Thought teachings infuse us with a sense of enthusiasm along the way, each and every step. The idea for this series was taken from the words to the opening song that we sang together this morning, Being Big for God. That song was written by a New Thought singer-songwriter by the name of Cerise Patron. And if you were to Google her name, you would find she has a YouTube channel, and you would learn something about some of her journeys, some of her struggles, some of her challenges, and some of her pain, which, when you know a little bit of the backstory, make the words to this song and its message, I think, even that much more inspiring. I want to challenge you as you listen in this morning and as you think and as you pay attention to that still small voice within you, to how it is that you are being invited to be big for God. I want to read the words to that song to you and ask you just to take them in as your own right now. I'm going to be big for God. I'm going to be big for God. I'm going to speak out. I'm going to speak out for love. I'm going to shine bright until the whole world sees the light. I'm going to shine bright. I'm going to speak out. I'm going to be big for God. I'm going to live loud, a life with no regrets. I'm going to go now, because now is all we get. I'm going to break free to live in perfect harmony. I'm going to break free. I'm going to go now. I'm going to live loud for God. I'm going to say yes to my good right now. I'm going to let go of all my fear and doubt. I'm going to go forth and bring a change about. I'm going to go forth. I'm going to let go. I'm going to say yes to God. I'm going to break free. I'm going to go now. I'm going to live loud for God. I'm going to shine bright. I'm going to speak out. I'm going to be big for God. I rather suspect that there might have been a couple of those lyrics that kind of just grabbed you. Maybe it was the idea of being loud. Maybe it was the idea of singing out, the idea of shining bright or letting your love be strong. But I bet there was a part of it. Maybe it was letting go of fear and doubt. But that there was a part of that you went, that really strikes a chord of truth with me. That really is something I want to stretch into. Where are you being invited to be bigger in your life? Where are you being invited to be bigger? Where are you being invited to be bolder? Where are you being invited to know the reason you're here to begin with? Is there something you're supposed to be doing that you're not doing now? Is there something you're supposed to be building or creating or serving that you've been putting off? Where are you being invited to stretch, to grow? We are ever-growing, ever-evolving souls on a journey. I like these words from the founder of religious science, Ernest Holmes. Unity and religious science, to me, we share the same roots, and we are so much more alike than we could ever be different. These are words from Ernest Holmes. The greatest gift life could have made to you is yourself. The greatest gift that life could have made to you is yourself. You are a spontaneous, self-choosing center in life. Think about that for a moment. You are a spontaneous, self-choosing center in life, in this great drama of being, the great joy of becoming, the certainty of eternal expansion. Those are some powerful words there, some big thoughts. You're a spontaneous, self-choosing center in life with a capital L, in the great drama of being. You are a part of the unfolding of all that is good and trying to be birthed on our planet today. You and I are a part of that, a very important part of that. Do we recognize that in ourselves? Do we hold ourselves to that? Do we recognize that we have a unique and important part to play? It is how we are being invited to be big for God. Ernest says, this great drama of being, the great joy of becoming, the certainty of eternal expansion. I like those words too. The certainty of eternal expansion. You are a spark of the divine. The person sitting next to you is as well. The person sitting behind you is as well. The person sitting in front of you is as well. And even that person that you sometimes consider to be sandpaper to your soul is also a spark of the divine. On a journey to become, on a journey to unfold. Where are you being invited? What is this new year inviting you to discover about yourself and to say yes to? What I know about invitations is sometimes they come all packaged beautifully and they're very easy to read and you absolutely quickly want to say yes. You can't wait to give your RSVP. But I also know that sometimes in life our invitations come somewhat in disguise. Have you discovered that at all? Somewhat in disguise, almost like they lie beneath our divine discontent, or they lie beneath our fear, or they lie within the realm, or rather just on the outside of the realm of our comfort zone. I think in my own life about some of the times that my invitation to be bigger didn't come all neat and tidy, wrapped up in a bow that felt like an easy thing to say yes to, but in fact felt like something that was a bit challenging to say yes to. In fact, I want to share with you some words that really spoke to me when I shared them in first service from Maya Angelou. She says, "My life has been long, and believing that life loves the liver of it, I have dared to try many things, sometimes trembling, but daring still." Sometimes trembling, but daring still. I remember the invitation at about 17 years old to join Ice Capade, scared to death of the idea. I'd never been away from home. I wasn't old enough to sign my own contract. But I did, and I said yes. And though I didn't stay with Ice Capades, I would never have found unity were it not for all the things that fell out of that decision that was absolutely a detour. I remember the invitation to go into ministry itself. It was loud, it was clear, but it came with the feeling at first of a nightmare, not a beautiful invitation into ministry. But there was something inside that recognized that that was an invitation to stretch, to be, to serve. I remember the invitation from headquarters at Unity Village. "Wendy, would you be the one to do a live webinar series?" Webinars were new at the time. "With Deepak Chopra on his new book, The Third Jesus." Everything inside of me, the fear wanted to say no, to return the RSVP with a regrets. And out of my mouth popped the answer, "Well, sure." And I wanted to pull those words right back as soon as I said them. But there was something that recognized that it was the fear that was behind the wanting to pull those words back, that there was an invitation. I shared those because, like Maya Angelou was saying, sometimes our yes comes with a feeling of trembling, because we're being asked to be bigger than we've been before, to do something that we didn't know how to do before, or to do something that's right outside our comfort zone. and actually frightens us a little bit. But to say yes to it is in part to recognize or to be able to answer that question that Mark Twain said. The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you discover why. Divine discontent. Say that with me. Divine discontent. What are you being challenged to be in this new year? How are you being challenged to be big for God? Are you going to speak out with a loud voice for love? Are you going to let your light shine bright? Are you going to put away the fear and doubt, or at least put them in their place? Are you going to be big? Are you going to be bold? Can you look beneath the fear? Can you look beneath that discontent in your life and discover that the discontent is hiding something that you are meant to do and be? Let me read these words from Ernest Holmes again. There is something within us all which constantly pushes us forward, which demands continued progress. Inertia may hinder our paying attention to this inner urge, but it is always there. It is what keeps us going ahead because it is what we are, and it is demanding expression. What I know is that which you are called to do and be in your life will keep nudging you and tapping you on the shoulder or pushing you or hitting you with a cosmic 2x4, if you really haven't been paying attention, until you honor it. Until you honor it. Can you imagine the kind of world we would be living in if each person was committed to paying attention to their soul's calling and to live big into that? Can you imagine how different the world would be? It would be a much more beautiful world. It would be a much more peaceful world. It would be a world that works so much better for all of us. You are not meant or expected to do what your neighbor is doing. You are meant and expected to answer your own call and to be big for that and to be big into that. I like these words from Rumi. Feel yourself being quietly drawn by the deeper pull of what you truly love. Feel yourself being quietly drawn by the deeper pull of what you truly love. The universe is really set up to our advantage. If we're paying attention, there are so many times and so many ways that it is as if Spirit is tapping us on the shoulder, saying, I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm helping you to find your way. I will bring people into your life that will help you. I will open doors that will make it easier for you to walk through. But I cannot do the walk for you. You must take those steps, and you must take them sometimes even when you are afraid. Have you not in your own life had the experience of journeying towards something that you felt was calling you and requiring of you to be bigger? Have you not had those moments where you felt afraid or you felt confused or you were not sure, and then something happened? Some divine intervention, some divine synchronicity that just caused you to go, oh, it's going to be okay. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. That's a vast number of us in this room. And sometimes those moments come and they have a very spiritual quality to them. But sometimes those moments come and they're rather comical. See, I think that Spirit has a sense of humor. And I know I'm anthropomorphizing God, and we don't believe in an anthropomorphic God in the sky. But language gets difficult sometimes. I believe that this energy, this presence that we call God, that we call Spirit, also has a sense of playfulness or humor. It would have to. It created us, right? It would have to. I'm reminded of a story that happened to Father Leo Booth. Do any of you recognize that name? He spoke for me a few times over the years. He is a former Episcopalian priest, very much in alignment with New Thought, with unity and science of mind, and very much a practitioner of these teachings and these ways. And he had just what I think of as a delicious moment in his life of being reminded that the universe just somehow works to support us, sometimes in the most delightful and humorous ways. He happened to be on his way to a conference in which he was presenting in Bali. And he arrived at the British airport, checked in with his passport, only to be told that there was a problem, that there were only 4 months left on his passport. And if you've done international travel, you know that to travel internationally, your passport has to extend 6 months beyond the date of you coming back. And so there was a problem, and the agent said to him, there's nothing we can do about it for you here, but if you stop at the British Embassy on your way, if you stop in Singapore, maybe you can meet with them there and they should be able to give you an extension on your passport. The only challenge is that usually takes several days. Well, he wasn't too happy about that because he really needed to get on to Bali for this conference, but he really didn't have any other choice. So he sat down to wait for the plane, kind of stewing, but also trying to practice, being in the right frame of mind and so forth. And a woman that was seated next to him got up to go use the ladies' room. And when she came back to take her seat, he noticed something embarrassing. Her skirt was caught up in her underpants. And he had one of those moments, he said, of how do I handle this? And he said, you have to hear him tell the story. He said, I thought about trying to take it out for her, but then I thought better of that, and I decided I would just be honest and tell her. Now I want to read the dialogue to you. So he says to her, excuse me, ma'am, your skirt is stuck in your underwear. She says, oh dear, I hate it when I do that. He mutters, I thought it was better for me to tell you. And she thanks him and says, I detect an accent. Are you from England? He says, yes, I am. She says, so am I, but now I live in Singapore. What do you do? Booth asks. Are you ready for her answer? I work for the British Embassy in the passport division. Within 1 day, he had what he needed, his passport extended within 1 day. Does the universe have a sense of humor? I think so. Could we have orchestrated that on our own? I don't think so. Being big for God means paying attention to the invitation. Where is life inviting you to be more than you've ever thought you could be before? And then paying attention not only to the invitation and responding with a yes, but then also keeping your eyes open to those wonderful little synchronicities that will happen that just give you comfort knowing that you are on the right path, that you are on the right path. And taking joy as well in knowing that as you are big for God and as you accept your invitation in whatever way that's going to look for you, that you are inspiring others as well. And that's a beautiful gift as well. So maybe it is that divine discontent in your life, that place where you're feeling like, I'm not too happy here. Maybe if you will look a little deeper, you will begin to see what the real invitation is. Could it be that Spirit is tapping you on your shoulder and saying, excuse me, I want you to be a bigger expression of me. Excuse me, I want you to sprout wings and fly. Excuse me, I want you to dust off that dream that others told you was impossible, and I want you to make it real. Excuse me, I need you to be big for me, and I need you to be big for yourself. Could it be? I think so. I want to close with one of my favorite quotes. I do have to admit I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with this quote, though. It's one from Michelangelo. He said, the greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that our aim is too low and we reach it. I'll repeat it. The greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that our aim is too low and we reach it. So if you have already gotten some answers to the question, how are you being invited to be big for God in this new year? And maybe it's going to be about speaking out for love or letting your light shine brightly or living loud without regrets. If you feel complete with your answer to that, then make sure that you've folded your paper and you've put it inside the envelope, that you've sealed it and you've put your name and address on it. You'll be leaving it in the bowl in the lobby. If you need a little more time, you can certainly go upstairs and complete the process there. It might be actually quite nice to have the support of the prayer partners up there and to complete your work there. Or if you need much more time, feel free to take them home. Bring them back next Sunday. We'll make sure that there's a lot of prayer support that goes over these throughout the year. And then we'll get them back to you come November time. And you'll have a chance to kind of read them and reflect. And I bet you're going to notice that you're different. I bet come November of this year, you're going to be able to say, wow, I really did stretch and grow. Wow, I really was bigger for God, for spirit, for life than I've ever tried to be before. So that's what you're going to do with those. Namaste, and God bless.